to the final lesson of mandolin tremolo technique. It's lovely to have you here, and this lesson we're going to be talking about double stops, and we're also going to be talking about trills. And so let's just quickly get into double stops. So in case you don't know, double stops refer to when you play 2 strings at once or 2 notes at once, 3 notes, 4 notes, or etc. So it's basically playing more than 1 note at once. And actually tremoloing on a double stop is very similar to tremoloing on an individual string, except 2 things that you do. One of them is, we talked about flattening the pick so that you play both strings on the up and both strings on the down. Now obviously if you're sort of coming up to play 1 string on the up and you don't flatten the pick, there's no way you're going to play the 2nd string. So you sort of flatten the pick in order to take in both strings, or all 3 strings, or all 4 strings. The second thing that you might do is that you have to move a wider circle, but all the other principles are the same. You still gently sort of rest on the string that you're not playing in between times, and you still divide usually you would divide the note into a certain number of strokes. Okay, so we're going to play F sharp, C and F sharp, and we're going to go from F sharp and then make larger strums to the C, and then larger again to the F sharp. Here we go. So as you hear, all I'm doing is widening the circle, and I'm trying not to greatly increase the volume, but it is a little bit unavoidable, because obviously as you start to cross more and more strings, it's hard to compensate for the added volume that brings. So let's try that together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then bring in that C. And then bring in the F sharp. Super. Okay, so that's all I'm really going to say about double stops. As you see, it's one of those things that's easy to say, a little bit more difficult to do, but just keep working on it, and just remember that the trick is to flatten the pick and to just make your strums bigger. So the other thing that I was going to talk about is trills. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, trills are difficult, and the reason that they're difficult is because of the coordination required between the left hand and the right hand that has the pick. What happens on most mandolins, if you try and do a hammer-on, you very, very quickly lose the volume. So for that reason, you basically have to pick almost every note of a trill, which is going to be easier if you use these 2 fingers, the victory sign fingers and other signs. Easier than these two, and in my opinion, if you use an open string, unless you've got sort of a ghost fret that I have, it doesn't sound very clean and smooth if you're making a trill. There's sort of a bit of 2 schools of thought about whether a trill should start on the higher note or whether it should start on the lower note. And both, both are fine. There's really no reason to have an argument about it. But the important thing is that if it starts on the higher note of the trill, it's going to sort of almost be an upbeat to the 1, or in tempo. Whereas if you start at the lower note of the trill, it will start right on the beat. So what I do when I trill is I think, again, completely about the music. I don't make it completely rhythmically consistent. Now that's my own personal choice, but it seems to me to work pretty well. And what I tend to do is kind of speed up and then combine that with a little bit of a dying away of the note as the trill progresses, and in so much as even the last 1 or 2 notes are actually a hammer-on. I won't even pick those. So let's just say we're doing a little bit of Vivaldi, which has got a bit of a tremolo, a trill at the end. And we'll see if we can do it, and I can show you what I mean. And then take it home, think about it at home, think about how you find it to be most musical, and just work on it yourself. Okay, here we go. You can sometimes, if you wish, to sort of gently pull the string with your left hand towards the end of the trill as well. So if you look, that was an exaggeration, but you see how you can kind of play the note with the left hand as the trill is dying away. Yes, anyway, that's the end of the series. I'll add an extra of Oblivion by Piazzolla, which was the piece that I played at the very beginning because a few people have requested or have asked me about that piece. So I thought I'd give that to you in full, and I look forward to any questions or comments that you might have, and I hope that you are well and safe and enjoying playing the mandolin. Bye.